Hi everyone. This is going to be the second Sunday afternoon live. This week, going to be joined by Cy Walker of Monolithian, Rash Decision. I've already forgotten the other band that he told me he's in, and obviously the host of the Seabiscuit, fucking hell, Seabin podcast. So sorry, Cy, I just called your podcast Seabiscuit rather than Seabin. I'm really sorry. But yeah, we're going to get him and we'll get this going once he's joined us. There he is.
The Seabiscuit podcast.
Yeah, man, I don't even know why the fuck I said Seabiscuit. I'm really sorry. But there you go. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm alright. I just played a round of D&D with some pals.
Sick.
Literally just got off and jumped right in.
Nice. Well, where are you at with your quest?
We just dove into this cave underwater. I play a turtle druid called Sal.
Nice.
And we dove underneath this water to this cave where we hope to find some shape-shifting seal monsters.
Sounds cool. How are you doing it? Like, are you doing it like over Zoom and stuff?
We have like a group chat on Facebook, and we just do like a Facebook group call.
Oh, okay.
And we all just have our dice and our character sheets in front. And Darren, who's doing the DM stuff, he's a ledge. He just talks us through it, and we just have a laugh.
Sounds pretty cool. Like, I don't know. I think like a combination of like talking to you about it and various other people, and then watching like, because I've like during lockdown I've like thoroughly got into Community, and obviously they do like a D&D episode in that, and like I'm really fascinated by it. So like I'm really like wanting to get into D&D. I just don't know where the fuck to start.
Oh man, well maybe one day we can get together and do a little sesh.
Yeah, man, that'll be sick. But
Steve's asking about the biscuits, and I have the biscuit.
There you go, Steve. Cy has provided the biscuits. I unfortunately don't have biscuits, so there we go. But yeah, the whole kind of point of me doing these. Oh, I haven't done my socials. Fucking hell, not being professional.
Fucking man.
But yeah, like the whole point is to kind of like catch up with people, what they're kind of doing during lockdown and stuff. And you're one of the people that's kind of been, I guess, fairly kind of productive in terms of like what you've been doing to kind of keep yourself busy, but also kind of entertaining your pals and stuff. But like before we kind of get into that in detail, like how you been sort of coping? Like, are you sort of going insane? Like where are you at the moment?
I'm bored, man. I should be on tour. Right? I should be on tour. Rash Decision should be on a European tour right now with Two Sick Monkeys, which was going to be dope. So I'm kind of bouncing off the walls, having a bit of FOMO for that. But it's just that the longest I've been for maybe a decade without playing a show.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm a fidgeter. Like my hands are always like doing something.
Yeah.
So not being able to play or do something or whatever I'm just kind of bouncing off the walls a bit. But luckily I've been able to keep myself pretty busy.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned obviously because I was going to bring this up later, but obviously you've brought it up now. Like you were meant to be on tour with Rash, and obviously like I think people who are watching this who know Rash Decision, they're probably like one of the hardest working bands within sort of punk, like constantly on tour, constantly doing whatever sort of thing. So like where are you guys kind of at the moment? Like obviously missing out on the tour, like have you kind of been speaking to Dave and stuff about like rearranging that? Like where's that kind of sitting at the moment?
Yeah, we have like a group that we all discuss stuff with, and like the ferries and stuff like that we had booked in the Eurotunnel and shit like that. They're like not really super keen on giving us any kind of any kind of reimbursement for the money we've already spent. So it means, you know, we have like a credit note and we can rebook the time, but they won't give us the money back.
Right.
And it's the same with the tour van, like the one that for the first time ever, we were like, right, let's hire a tour van, a really nice one, with like fucking leather armchairs and
Yeah.
plug sockets and a little telly and all that shit. So we'd finally been like, right, we're going to do a really, really nice tour now. And then it all went to shit. So we probably will reschedule that when we can, just so we don't lose out on money from the ferry and the bus and stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, at least we kind of got that.
We're chatting. I think Dave's taking it the hardest in terms of not knowing what to do with himself, because he like lives and breathes the business side of Rash like 24/7.
Yeah.
So he's just like, what am I doing? If I'm not booking a show or playing a show, I don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Like, obviously, well, not in a completely similar boat, but obviously I was meant to be, like, right this moment I would have been in Germany sort of thing. So it's just kind of like, sort of like just that kind of realization of shit that should be happening, but it's not happening. But
yeah, I guess like we both just got to remember that we can't control it.
Yeah,
and we just got to roll with it.
But you have been providing the internet with wonderful entertainment each day with your Underpants sessions. So let's get into that. Like, where did
I think the word entertainment might be a stretch for that, but
but like, where did the kind of, like, was it an idea that you had? Was it just something that you kind of did and now it's kind of escalated? Like, what made you kind of start it in the first place?
Well, I just I've recently moved house, and I had all my gear sort of lying around. Normally it would be in a garage, but this new house didn't have a garage, and I was trying to build a shed to put it all in, but I hadn't built it yet. So I had all my amps and cabs and guitars in my room, and I just plugged it in and was dicking around. I don't normally have like amp in my room, and I was like just playing along, and I started playing along to a Grand Collapse song called False Dawn. I just filmed it and put it on, but I was just in my pants and you could see my big, chunky, thick boy thighs out. And then people just seemed to dig it, and then I did another one and another one, and then it became what it is.
Yeah.
And it's just like sometimes I'll take a few days off just to think of something to do, and then I'll do another one. And
so, like, how do you kind of like choose what songs you want to do? Is it just ones that you've kind of, you know, that you can play, or do you challenge yourself? Like, where does that all come in?
Yeah, it's like that. I'd be like, what song do I really like that I know I can play? And then I'll do that. Sometimes I won't remember to relearn it to hilarious results.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'll be like, I want to try and be a flash cunt, so I'll like learn something like the solo to Blood and Thunder. I didn't know how to play that.
Yeah.
So I learned that just to try and be like,
yeah.
But yeah, I'm just doing stuff that I like and know.
Yeah.
And so as soon as I run out of shit, I'm going to be like, oh fuck.
Have you had a particular favourite that you've played so far?
Man, I think one of the Tool Lateralis cover I really liked doing, just because that's like my favourite song, and I just really enjoyed doing it. And it got shared to the Tool fans official Facebook page.
That's cool.
And everyone was like digging on it and stuff like, why is he in his pants? Why did he slap his thigh? Why is this rotund fellow slapping his hams? But so that was fun, just because they're my favourite band, and I got to do that.
That's cool. And is it like, what would you say has kind of been, I guess, the most difficult in some aspects to play? Like, I know you said the ones that you like know anyway, but has there been one that you found a bit more challenging?
Oh man, I recently was trying to do a Judas Priest song from the Painkiller album called Between the Hammer and the Anvil, and I just couldn't fucking do it, so I just did Breaking the Law instead because it's got the solo. But like that one was really pissing me off because I was like, mate, yeah, just random shit like that, like stuff that does the solos, because I'm not much of a I'm going to learn a solo kind of guy. I just dick around. So anything with a solo, I've probably pulled my hair out a little bit, but yeah, trying to learn Judas Priest has been a real dick.
Yeah. And obviously recently you did the kind of mono sort of playthrough sort of thing. So was that something that, like, as the kind of sessions evolved that you always kind of had in the back of the mind that you wanted to do, or what, like, was that just something that you kind of like, oh, well, give this a go, sort of thing? Like, where did that kind of all roll into it?
I was just like, I'll do it. It's an excuse. It's a free day. You know, I don't have to learn anything. I can just practice and stream it live, and then. But because I did one on the Rash page on the 10th anniversary of recording. Is it the 10th? No, the 5th anniversary, I think, of recording Seaside Resort to Violence.
Yeah.
And I played that all the way through on the Rash page, and then we got copyright strike for our own fucking songs.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And all the audio got taken away. I was like, I fucking wrote this shit. I know, it's because we go through a thing called Root Note, and they upload it to all the Spotify or whatever, and they have like really strict copyright shit, so they probably thought someone was trying to rip their shit
Okay.
or our shit. But it was like, no, I'm just playing my stuff. so I thought I'd do it for an album that wasn't on Spotify yet.
Yeah.
So I didn't get.
Fair enough.
So I did that one.
Well, as we're kind of talking sort of Monolithian at the moment, like, I know we've already mentioned that Rash were meant to be out on tour and stuff, but has this sort of coronavirus stuff kind of affected what Monolithian had it in the pipeline, or have things chilled out a little bit at the moment?
Well, no, because we really wanted to do a lot of stuff this year, so we had a few shows booked. You know, we missed out on a few shows, but we had a tour at the end of this month with the band Underdark.
Oh shit!
That we hadn't really fully announced yet. There was a few dates, but we were just going to do like a little sort of long weekend with those homies.
Yeah.
So that got snagged, which is a shame because I wanted to do a podcast with Abby, the vocalist. So
yeah.
That's all I care about. God damn it! I fucked up my podcast. Oh yeah, and Dean's right as well. Yeah, we were going to do a collaborative set at Dreadfest.
Yeah.
And that was fucky. That was gutting because I was looking forward to that a lot. Yeah. I miss Dean so bad.
Well, that's the thing, because like Dreadfest, I guess, was kind of, well, for me, like the start of the downfall, because I was meant to be, who was the band? I can't remember the band now. It's the band that the dude from Rotten Sound was in. I can't remember, but I was meant to be picking them up from the airport and driving them to Dreadfest. And then obviously Dreadfest got cancelled, and then everything just sort of started to escalate down. So it was a bit of that whole weekend was a bit of a shitter for me as well, which is a bit sucky, but hey ho. But
yeah, I was just looking forward to smelling Dean, because Dean always smells so amazing.
Beautiful, lush scents.
It's literally like, you know, like when you walk into a Lush and you get like completely overpowered by the stench of 1,000 perfumes. It's like if that was like filtered down to something beautiful. Dean is the walking embodiment of that scent. Yeah, that sounds really creepy. Actually, I'm just like, ugh, I want to sniff Dean.
But you've mentioned the podcast, so we'll bring that on, because I think, like, well, obviously when I had you on my podcast proper, like, you were kind of toying around with the idea, but it was still very much in its embryonic stages. But now we have, as I've now coined it, the Seabiscuit podcast.
Seabiscuit podcast.
But like Seabin, it's done really cool, and like it's like obviously you're still kind of doing it and stuff. So like, I guess, when did you kind of come around with a fully formed idea, and how are you finding it now, still doing episodes in isolation?
It's something I've wanted to do for years and years. I used to listen to like all the Kevin Smith podcasts and like Thomas Segura's podcasts, and just like different comedians and stuff, like all the time. And I've always been. I used to do community radio, and I still do, and I'm a fan of just talking, and sort of I don't know. It's just something I've always wanted to do, but I never really could, because I've never really had a computer or anything to do it with.
Yeah.
And what it was I had this I wanted to do one called All Bangers No Twangers.
Nice.
Well, I got people on to like bring in an album they consider perfect front to back, and then we just go track by track with it, like almost like an audio commentary.
Yeah.
But I thought, that, you know, that could probably has a pretty short lifespan, I think, with that. And then I'm on this group on Facebook called the UK Nerd Punks, and it's like a really big community of like people that just like look out for each other.
Yeah.
We have a running joke called the Seabin, and I was like, I could do that, but I could like do like Room 101 rip off. But we did it in the Seabin, but I could have everyone just like be really filthy and sweary. And I left it on the back burner again for a long time, and then Shannon from Monolithian, for Christmas, she gave me this Amazon gift voucher. And I didn't know what to do with it, and then I thought I could buy a microphone with that and then do my thing. So I did it, and then literally like after I bought it, my friend Saul from Real Authority was visiting Cornwall, and I hadn't seen him for like years and years. So I messaged him and I was like, "Hey man, do you want to like come and be like on this weird like pilot episode of this podcast I want to do?" And he was like, "Fuck yeah!" And he just came over and did it, and then that was it. It's like it's a really spur of the moment thing.
But like, how are you finding it now? Like, as I say, kind of because. Like from your like the earlier episodes, like obviously you're there face to face with people, and like because I've even found it like doing sort of interviews over Skype and stuff rather than when you're in person, you can bounce off people a lot better. Obviously there's no kind of internet lag and things like that. But like obviously at the moment I'm kind of slowing things down, but that's because all my equipment has just died on me. But you're still carrying on sort of doing things. So how are you finding changing it up into that scenario?
It's trial and error. It's a lot of like freaking out and like trying to figure it out. Luckily, I'm grateful that I have a lot of friends who have, you know, sort of home recording setups.
Yeah.
So basically, I put down a short list of all the people that I knew could record from home on a microphone. And I sent them a message and I said, "Yo, you know, would you be up for this?" And everyone's been really fucking sound and giving me their time. And what we're doing is we're both setting up a microphone, and then we're putting headphones in, and then we're just talking over the telephone. Right. And then huge shout out to Jimmers from F Masculata, the drummer from F Masculata, and my other band Swan Song, because he's basically editing all my podcasts. Right. Okay. We send him both sides. We sync it up with like a clap, and then he like just edits it together, and it just sounds like we're talking to get like the same room. That's cool. That's like that's the thing that I've tried doing that a few times, like in the past, like where people are recording the audio their end and they send it to me, but where I'm doing everything, I'm not the greatest at sort of syncing the stuff up, so there's been a bit kind of lag and it's a bit overlapping, but it's cool that you're able to sort of get someone to lend a helping hand in that aspect. Yeah, and like a couple of the episodes like the first few ones we did on lockdown, you know, there was like a lag, so I've had to start putting like music in the background to fill the dead space. I found that if everyone can just not do a video call and you can just talk like over, like, you know, I dial in their phone number and talk over the phone, there's like literally no lag. Yeah, so like it works a lot better. Well, like as you said, like I thought I'd kind of spin the Seabin concept back on yourself for a second. The whole sort of Room 101, and obviously with us being in lockdown. So, like apart from coronavirus itself, what aspect of this shit show would you throw in the Seabin? Oh man, I think just how do I word this in a way that makes sense? And I'm not just gibbering on. I think just like the reaction to it and how people are dealing with it. Yeah, yeah. Like the government and how people are like listening to them and thinking that what they say is exactly how things should be. So like when they say, "Hey, it's okay to go out for a bit," people are like, "Okay, let's go out," or like, you know, I don't know, just people not using common sense
Yeah.
and not really taking it seriously.
Yeah.
I would throw that into the Seabin.
Yeah.
Because I live in a seaside town, and you know, I go out to do my shop or pick up some prescriptions for my mum or something, and there's like 15, 20 people with their shirts sitting, you know, drinking street beers.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, families just kind of walking around and eating ice cream and having packed lunches in on the moor, like, or on the pier where I live. And it's just like, come on, guys! Like, I know it's nice, and I know you want to go out, and I know you feel like you're a prisoner, but all you have to do is just go home, sit in your garden, have a cup of tea,
Yeah.
put the telly on. You know,
Yeah.
this isn't a holiday.
Well, it's like the prime example, like with VE Day on Friday, like there's a road across from sort of like where I live, and they were having like a full-blown street party. Like, I'm not talking about like sitting in your garden across from your neighbours. Like, they had like gazebos up, the fucking karaoke machines out and everything. And it's like, I get like like everyone's been cooped inside, and this is our like your one chance to enjoy a bit of the outside, but you're fucking taking the piss a little bit. And like, obviously today, like, we've heard that they're going to be changing some aspects of things. They changed their message to stay alert now, whatever the fuck that means. And like, people, like, you give people an inch and they're going to take a fucking mile. So it's,
I mean, they're already doing it, man. You know, it's fucked. And it makes me fucking scared to even go out to get shopping, because I'm high risk. My mum, who I live for and care for, is high risk. I don't want to bring anything back. You know, it's I just wish we just fucking just be good. Just go home, watch telly.
Well, the other thing,
put Stranger Things on, have a wank. There's lots of things to do. You know. Listen to the Seabiscuit podcast.
Yeah, man. Well, the other thing that I wanted to mention about the podcast, I was going to ask you this anyway, but when I asked for questions, Rich Heaven put this in as one of them anyway. Where did Big Tasty come from?
Right. Well, so you can probably hear my dogs whooping in the background.
Yeah, that's cool.
My friend Dan, he plays bass in Swan Song. It's a band I'm in. And years ago, we had we were going to do this like rockabilly type band.
Right.
We had a group chat and we were talking about how we were going to sort it out and stuff. And at one time he was just like, "So how you doing today, there, Big Tasty?" And I was like, "What the fuck did you just call me?" And he was like, "You know, Big Tasty." And I was like, "I kind of like that." And he kept calling me it, but I didn't really think about it. And I used to work in this restaurant. And we used to have these like plating tweezers.
Yeah, yeah.
And we had to label our tweezers because we kept nicking each other's tweezers. So I wrote Big Tasty on my tweezers as a joke. And then as everyone kept nicking my tweezers, they'd say it said Big Tasty on it. And then everyone in the kitchen started calling me Big Tasty. And then it just kind of spread and ran around.
So you
when I did that wrestling thing. Yeah, and then when I did that wrestling thing with Jimmy Diamond from Rotten Foxes for that Rash tour, I used Big Tasty as like my wrestling name, and then that's when it became like my only name.
Right. Okay. Well, there we go.
It was bizarre. Like Helpless played that Holy Raw Louder Than God Fest in Temple of Boom.
Yeah.
And Rotten Foxes are like big with the Turbo Jugend. Gang. So they were. I didn't realize, but those videos me and Jimmy Diamond were doing, those promos, are being shared around all the Turbo Jugend forums and pages.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just sitting around at the merch table in Temple of Boom, and all these Jugends walk in. They see me, and they're just like, "Big fucking Tasty!" they start gifting me beard oil and taking selfies of me, like sparring off and stuff. It was really strange.
That's fucking brilliant. That's all good.
Yeah, so it's almost like now I'm stuck with it.
Yeah, well,
but I like it.
No, it's cool, man. And I think it's kind of cool that you've kind of taken ownership of it as well, which is like, because some nicknames people are like, oh, fuck off, mate, like, but you've fully embraced it and this kind of become part of your identity now.
Yeah.
Especially with the podcast.
I mean, there's worse names to have. It's not like he called me like Fat Delicious or something. Like, I could take a big tasty.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, you mentioned sort of like wrestling there, and obviously that's another thing that me and you both have in common. And as we're on Richard's questions, I'll ask this, and then I'll get into what I wanted to talk to you about wrestling. But Rich said, what would be your perfect wrestling match?
I saw that question and I did think about it, and I think my answer might be slightly controversial.
Okay.
But I would have Chris Benoit
Right.
in his prime against AJ Styles.
Oh.
And I think that would be a fucking man.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Like, that's the thing, like, despite everything with Chris Benoit, like, his obviously legacy is completely tainted with the fucked up shit that he ended up doing. But people forget that how phenomenal a wrestler he was.
He was my favorite as a kid. It was him and Kurt Angle were my favorite wrestlers when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And like, we've seen Kurt Angle and AJ Styles in TNA, so I don't want to do that one. But I think Chris Benoit and AJ Styles would be like ridiculous wrestling match.
Yeah, most definitely. Like, especially like, maybe not necessarily now AJ, like maybe kind of like end of New Japan, beginning of WWE era AJ.
Exactly.
But yeah, like I would definitely agree that would be
when he was trying to prove to everyone who hadn't seen him like how good he was. And he was just doing these crazy matches.
Oh, 2 seconds, mate. What?
No worries.
No. Sorry.
How's everyone doing there?
I had an intruder coming in. But yeah, like the other thing that I wanted to kind of talk to you about wrestling is because obviously we've had WrestleMania a couple of weeks back. We've got, as we're talking now, we've got Money in the Bank tonight. Like, what's your kind of opinion been on sort of the whole wrestling carrying on? Are you kind of used to it with it not being an audience now? Because I'm like, I watched WrestleMania and I enjoyed it, but I found it really hard to keep up with it not having an audience. Like, I can't engage with it. So I just wondered what your view and opinion was.
Yeah, man, WrestleMania was a slog. It was really hard to like appreciate it. A few people were playing like crowd sounds from YouTube in the background, and I did try that, and it did help. It did help out. Like it made me sort of it brought me back into the atmosphere a little bit, so I could enjoy it. I know they're trying to entertain people, but we all know it's about not losing money.
Yeah.
And that paints it. And you can tell from the talent that they just want to be safe and not be fucking doing this shit. And when all those people got fired,
yeah,
I was like, I was gonna cancel my network and just be like, no, I just can't morally deal with like this capitalist machine.
Yeah.
So then when I saw they were going to do Money in the Bank, I was like, okay, I'll watch that and see if it's any good, and then I'll probably cancel.
Yeah. Are you going to be watching tonight then?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Any predictions?
I think Otis is going to win the Money in the Bank.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. I just feel like he is.
See, I think it's either going to be Daniel Bryan or Aleister Black.
Aleister Black would be rad. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why Otis. I just feel like they're really big on Otis at the minute.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. Well, as we're kind of like on audience participation questions as well, like I'll go through some of the ones that have been sent in and that you've kind of flagged up to me. I'll start with my guest who I had last week, Sean Adicott. I don't know whether he's asking which do you prefer or which is better, but so you can take this however you want to take it. But he's put D beat versus blast beat.
Blast beat.
Blast beat, yeah. Any particular reason?
I think so. Because a lot of like the DB bands, it's just the same, but it's like every song is, and I know in grindcore every song is, but like at least that's like intense, and you're just like,
yeah.
But there's only so much you can go before you're really over it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'd say blast beats with short bursts of fucking DB.
That's cool. I'm inclined to agree with you on that one. Actually, to be fair, like I'm very much for a fast finger wag. Than
it's just like you just want to do that shit, you know.
Cool. Right, Rob Day. I'm intrigued on your answer on this one because it's something again that I kind of relate to as well. So I might chime in with my opinion. But Rob Day asks, as a person that doesn't drink, how do you kind of feel being in a sort of a booze-centric music scene?
Well, I'm so used to it, man. I don't even really think about it anymore.
Yeah.
I think like it's important to keep perspective because it's really easy to be like, oh, look at it, it's so sad. They require this horrible elixir to have fun, but it's like it's not that, you know. It's a social thing and people enjoy it and want to have it, and most people will use it responsibly, and it's fine, you know. I don't mind. You can drink whatever you like. I think it's frustrating when people are just obnoxious in your face and drunk and just like, why won't you have a drink with me? It's like, well, I just don't want to. I'll have a Coke with you.
Yeah.
It's like, do you think you're better than me? It's like, no, it just doesn't work with how my brain works, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of used to it. Sometimes it can be frustrating, but most of the time, honestly, it's like whatever, you know?
Yeah, like I'm very much like the same. Like it doesn't bother me. Like I'm around, like 9 times out of 10, like when I'm at a show, I'm with someone or around someone that drinks, and it's like I'm not being fucking straight edge revenge, knocking a pint out of their hand, fucking kind of. But
you should do that. You should try that for a little bit and see how it goes.
But like my only sort of gripe, and it's kind of only sort of bigger shows or like festivals and stuff, is the kind of trait of like once you finished your pint, it's just fucking throwing the cup, because like like even if it's empty, there's still fucking remnants, and if you're gonna get fucking beer on me, then that's gonna piss me off. Like that's my only like point when I'm like, oh, sort of thing.
I didn't think I could count the amount of times that someone's thrown a pint and like just beer's just gone right in my mouth.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, fucking come on, dudes, why you got to throw that shit? There's no need for that. Yeah, that's a shitter.
Yeah.
I've been spiked before with alcohol from people trying to slip me up.
That's fucked up.
You know, yeah, it's like, you know, you order a lemonade and they put vodka in it, and then not too long ago actually, Monolithian played a show in Plymouth, and I think this was a mistake, but it was an annoying one. I was like, Shannon, you know, what do you want to drink after we played? And she was like, oh, a rum and coke. So I got her a rum and coke, and I got myself a lemonade, and the guy just like put 2 shots of vodka in my lemonade.
What?
I did. And then I neck it because I'm gasping. I just played, and all of a sudden I'm just hit with this like nauseating rush of like, oh my god, I just drank like 2 shots of vodka. And I was like, what, did you put vodka in that? He's like, yeah. I was like, I ordered a lemonade. He's like, I just assumed you wanted a vodka and lemonade. It's like, dude, don't assume my beverage. It's like, I ordered a fucking lemonade. What if I was a recovering alcoholic? What if I had to drive? What if I was allergic to alcohol? You know, that shit fucked me up. Yeah, and I had friends before. I'd be like, oh, can I have it? They'd have like a bottle of 7-Up or something, and then like the back of their car, I'd be like, oh, can I have a sip of that? And they're like, oh, sure. And I sip it, and it's got like fucking Sambuca or some shit in it, and I'm just like, dude, you knew that had it in there, but you just didn't tell me because you wanted to make me fucking fuck up.
That's fucked up, man. Like, I'm sorry that shit happened. Like, thankfully, touch wood, like I've never had anything like that, but.
Yeah, man. It's just fucking sad, man. It's just sad, really.
Yeah. Well, we'll stick with Rob's other question for now. He asked, how do you find like the contrast in what you play in terms of kind of switching between bass and guitar? Like, obviously, you play bass in Mono, play guitar in Rash and various other bands. So, like, how do you find the contrast in switching between the two?
You know, I hear a lot of guitar players, and they're like, you know, I need to have like a thin neck or a fat neck, and if I go between the two, I just can't play right. I've never had that problem, so I think I don't know. I'm just lucky. I have like a sort of ambidextrous sort of guitar playing brain. So like when like Rash and Mono have been sort of back to back on the lineup or something, I just plug in and play, and it doesn't really seem to bother me too much.
Yeah, no,
that's kind of a boring answer, but I've just never.
Was it beginning of the year when you did the tour with Rash and Mono when I saw you last?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously, like, it's not like you've kind of got to go off stage with one of the band and then kind of refocus your mind, sort of thing. Like, is it kind of like second nature kind of thing now?
Yeah, it is. I think the hardest part is the vocals.
Yeah.
Because Rash is very like throat forward yelling, and then Mono is very like stomach depth, fucking like.
Yeah.
So it's like if Mono go on before Rash, I have to really watch myself and like not allow myself to do a silly vocal line because I want. You know, because with Mono, I'll like try and hold a scream or like do as low as I can, and like just until it hurts my brain, just because I want to feel something. But if I do that, I go on stage at Rash, and I'm just like, hello.
No, that's fair. We'll stick with one more sort of audience question, I guess. Sarah Tyrrell, who I'm guessing was one of your friends because it's one that you flagged up to me.
Yeah, she's an amazing musician.
But she asked, obviously, she played in sort of numerous bands like that play kind of different genres. Obviously, you touched on there, like Mono's Doom, Rash's Thrash. Helpless is kind of a weird mix between the two.
It's like converging shit.
I'm not familiar with what you do in Swansong, but she's asked, like, is there kind of a genre of music that you're not currently in that you would like to play?
That's an interesting question. Swansong is, by the way, is kind of like a noise rock, post grunge kind of deal.
Okay.
You know, I'm trying to think. Because I've been in a gent band, I've been in a death metal band, I've been in a stoner rock band. I'd like to do some kind of like. I'm not going to be in a ska band, Rich. Fuck off. I'd like to do some sort of like psychobilly, garage rock, Hives kind of deal.
Okay.
I think that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, just like reverb-soaked, fucking mean-sounding surf rock or something. I think that'd be pretty cool.
What, like you just playing guitar or doing vocals as well?
I think just playing guitar.
Yeah.
Get someone who's got a really gnarly voice to just fucking scream and just there jangle around.
Fair enough. Well,
yeah, that'd be cool.
I think that's kind of everything that I wanted to sort of touch base with you on. Before I do let you go, Si, obviously we mentioned the Underpants sessions. So have you got anything in the pipeline that you're willing to share, or do you want to kind of keep it a surprise each day?
I mean, I don't even really, really know. Sorry, excuse me. A lot of the times I'll think of it and like report, oh shit, what am I going to do? And then I'll like just flick through Spotify, or I'll like think of a band I like. I think I'm going to do some more Municipal Waste soon. Maybe some more Melvins.
Yeah.
Yeah, just shit like that. I don't know. Have you got any suggestions? Anything you want to hear?
Oh God, now you put me on the spot. Not that I can think of. If I do, I'll drop you a message.
What's your favourite band?
My favourite band? Oh, See, it's a toss-up between Have Heart and Converge. So
I tried doing Dark Horse on guitar, but I'm just not good enough. Maybe I'll try it on bass.
there you go. Give it a go.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that.
Cool. Right. So
I'll do it for you.
do you want to give Seabin a quick shout out before I let you rush off?
Yeah, man. First of all, cheers for having me on. It's always nice to talk to you.
Always.
I hope I can get you on Seabin soon,
Yeah,
man. Because it's just it's always a pleasure to talk to you, bud. And cheers for everyone watching and everyone who's put a question in. So yeah, if you want to listen to Seabin, go to Spotify or type in on Google like the Seabin podcast. We're on Bandcamp. It's weekly, every Tuesday. It's all in good fun. It's kind of sweary, dirty humor, but it's all in good morals and good fun. I got 2 episodes coming up. I recorded this week. Excuse me. I got sort of folk punk dude AJ Simmons coming on to talk about his Crohn's disease and what he's been up to, and that one came out very strange. And I also just interviewed Tanya from the band Bismuth, and that one's a really wholesome chat. So I got 2 episodes recorded that'll be coming up soon in the next couple of Tuesdays. So check them out.
Sick. Right. So lovely to see you. Lovely to hear from you. And
you too, brother.
Hopefully it'll be face to face next time.
Oh, I fucking hope so, mate.
And Sean's just complimented
we need to compare our ginger moustaches.
And I agree with Sean. That was a good bird that you just produced.
And it's if you listen to Seabin, you know that I'm a very flatulent fella.
But yeah, cheers for doing this, dude. Take care.
Anytime, man. Take it easy.
See you later.
Later.